What's up, Pure? How you doing? It is Rap Politics. I am your host, Mark Supreme. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all could have been watching anything on social media, and y'all here with me and the Pure Journal Star and the special guests that we got lined up. And of course, we appreciate that. And you already know that we are brought to you by Sherman's, where they carry the best in furniture, mattresses, and appliances, and they're also hiring. Sherman's is one of the few places left in town that doesn't care about your education. They just promote people that work hard, have a good attitude, and follow their core values. One of the few places that hard work gets recognized and gets you ahead. You can log on to shermanscareers.com to check out the openings and apply online. And we're also brought to you by Terry Shepard, a real estate consultant whose values are rooted in customer care and service. She can help you negotiate your deal and get you into a home that fits. She's with Remax Traders Unlimited, and she can be reached at 309-361-4592. So we're back. So first off, I got to do a correction from last week. We spoke about Kanye West and Sha'Carri Richardson, and I mentioned that she tested negative in her drug test for the Olympics that disqualified her. Of course, I meant that she tested positive, so I wanted to clear that up, but y'all know what I meant. In addition to that, Kanye West kind of pump faked the whole industry because we were really expecting a new Kanye West album called Donda last Friday, and of course, it didn't drop. It ended up being a listening party in Chicago, a live listening party, and we didn't get no album. So when is the album coming from Kanye? We don't know exactly, but we just gonna wait, cross our fingers, and hope. But best of that and all the fans, but he really pump faked the whole industry. So it's no surprise COVID-19 is coming back up. I think we knew this already. I think we knew this. It happened last summer. You know, we had this summer. We was out and about. We kicked it. We got it in a little bit. And then fall came and it smacked us and we had to put the mask back on. And according to PJ Star, new coronavirus cases are rising in Illinois in the week ending last Sunday, rising 79% as 7,983 cases were reported. The previous week had 4,449 new cases of the coronavirus, and Illinois right now ranks 26th among the states where coronavirus is spreading the fastest on a per person basis, according to USA Today. And Peoria County reported 84 cases and one death last week, and a week earlier reported 33 new cases and one death. So throughout the pandemic, it's reported 23,000 cases and 346 deaths. So I say all that to say, if you choose to get vaccinated, definitely go get that checked out to where vaccinations are free. But in the meantime, of course, we encourage you to wear your mask, social distance when you can. Like I said, we had the summer, but it's looking like it's about to get wrapped up. It's about to get wrapped up here soon, man. And also for the PJ story of the day, MacArthur Highway Business Corridor is getting $10 million in renovation money, thanks in part to State Representative Jahan Gordon Booth. In that story, she talks about why she negotiated for $10 million from the state as the second highest ranking official in the House, and why she thinks this investment can be similar to the work done in the warehouse district. You can find that and more on Peoria Journal Star. Click, like, subscribe, the whole bit. Now, we got a special guest as promised. Man, they call him cherry picking sellers. I don't know what's going on, man, but I don't knock it at all. Marcellus Sommerville, former Bradley Brave and current Brave in the basketball tournament. Marcellus, man, what's good?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You in the locker room?
No, I'm just outside the locker room. Don't get a great signal in the locker room, so you might hear the court, but I'm just outside it.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna make it quick. You got a game at 8, so we definitely want to make sure we can get to business. They're saying Saturday's win was the biggest comeback in Elam ending comeback history in the basketball tournament history. For the people that don't know what the Elam ending is, what is it, and how does it feel to be a part of that type of history?
I guess it's a new version of way in a game. So they once the final 4 minutes, under the 4 minutes, they set the score, turn off the clock except for the shot clock, and the team first to +7, I believe, or +8, and they end up being to determine a winner. They want every game to end on a game winner So it brings some excitement, some thrill to basketball.
Now, y'all were down 13. Y'all came back, end up winning by 2, 75 to 73. How did y'all stage that comeback? Because I didn't get to go to the game. I got to go to I got to check out the highlights. Y'all was getting drunk.
It's kind of difficult to put that type of moment right into words. You kind of had to be there to see it, or at least see the video or highlight this to witness it. But to be in it, I guess, how can you explain it? I mean, you just got to be present, right? You got to be present in the moment and taking it one possession at a time. And I think our team did some of that, and we were able to come out victorious.
Now, be honest, man, I got to ask you, and for the people that did get to watch the game or did get to be there in person, was there ever, did you always think y'all was going to win that game? Or was there a moment in there where you like, man, I don't know, we might have this might be the end of the road?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say there wasn't one moment where I believed that we couldn't come back. I think if you have any ounce of doubt in that type of game and type of moment, you don't come out as a winner, right? So just wanted to stay engaged, stay in the game. A lot of people call it, well, Kobe always called it his mentality and just staying locked in. That's it, man.
Now, when it comes to game excitement and having stuff come down to the wire, you didn't play at Central, you didn't play it overseas, you didn't play at Bradley before. Where does this rank as far as career wins for you? Because I mean, it's not professional, it's not college, but you playing for $1 million.
Yeah, you're playing for $1 million, but you're more so playing for the memories, the experience, especially being here in a hometown. You're playing for Peoria in a sense. So all that taken into consideration when you step on the floor, and you just want to get your best effort always and represent.
Now, and I want to get to tonight, but real quick, obviously you ain't the oldest guy that ever, put on some shoes, but you ain't the youngest either. You won MVP at the Juneteenth. You came back here and you're doing you got the victory on Saturday. What inspires you to keep going, and how do you keep everything together? You take the LeBron ice bath or something?
Man, they make a lot of machines, and I was fortunate to play professionally for 14 years. So of course I learned how to take care of my body, and so I've been doing a little bit of that lately, right? In terms of icing and Normatec and all the new features that keep your body healthy and fresh. So I've been doing all that, man, and then hopefully it continues to work, and hopefully tonight we can come out on top and get it done.
How do y'all plan on taking care of the Jackson Underdogs tonight?
I don't know. They're a really tough team, right? So we want to match that intensity. We want to be able to play strong and through contact, and just continue to put on the show, man.
Was there any sort of letdown that y'all didn't get to play U of I?
I mean, for the city, yeah, but in terms of basketball, no, I wouldn't say yet. Not really.
What does this mean for you to have your son being able to watch you play in Peoria and knock this TBT out?
It's really nice. My younger kids probably don't remember me playing, but it's nice to be able to lead by example. I do run an basketball academy here in the city, and so being able to show the kids, opposition and adversity and the ways to get through that throughout the game, and adjustments and all those different things that I preach in our practices. And it was nice to be able to showcase some of that the other day.
All right, last question. The people got to know, anybody watching the TBT got to know, if y'all win that $1 million, what's that first purchase you got to go ahead and take care of?
Honestly, I have no idea. I haven't really thought much about it. Like I said, always trying to remain present. And so that's just being mindful of that, not looking too far ahead, but constantly knowing that every minute counts, every possession counts, and trying to stay present in the mindset.
Okay. Well, look, if you need some help and you need a list of stuff, you get back at me, man. We'll help you knock it out. Hey, listen, Marcellus, man, appreciate you stopping by RapPolitics. Best of luck to you and the squad tonight, and I'll definitely be watching.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all. Have a good night. and tune in, man. Yep.
Most def. Okay, now that was Marcellus Sommerville. Appreciate him coming on to Rap Politics. Now we got Brave after Brave now, man. We have Marcellus Sommerville, and now we got, and I got an intro for you, Chris. We got to knock out the intros first, man. Came to Bradley in 2015 as an athletic director, was named one of the nation's top athletic directors by the National Association of Collegiate Directors of Athletics. He also is the first Missouri Valley Conference athletics director to serve on the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee. In just 3 years, was promoted to vice president of intercollegiate athletics. Just signed a contract extension in April. Played basketball at Central, then went on to play under Bob Knight at Indiana, where he helped win a Big Ten Conference championship in 91 and 93, helped take the team to the Final Four in 92, and is set to be the chairman of the NCAA D1 Men's Basketball Selection Committee for 2022 and 2023. We talk about March Madness, y'all, the actual March Madness. And he has a law degree and a PhD. Did I leave anything out?
No, you summarized that quite nicely. Good to be with you today.
Okay, now you ain't leaving. I just want to make sure I ain't leaving nothing out. Okay. Chris Reynolds, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How you doing today?
I'm good. We appreciate you being on RapPolitics today. Now, we know you got a lot going on, but being in this moment, you just saw Marcellus jump off. You're working for Bradley right now. You're back in your hometown. How does it feel for you to be able to watch Bradley alums competing in Peoria at this level?
It's fantastic. And what I will say, first of all, thank you for having me on this evening. But just to have the guys back in town, the games for me are a bonus. But to be able to interact with them, to see them here back in Peoria is very meaningful, not just to me, but our fans, our supporters, people who watch, people like Marcellus and the others play when they were here as student athletes. To be able to see them again competing, particularly at Carver Arena, is very special for a lot of people. And so just really excited for the city of Peoria and for our alums to be back on the hilltop.
Most definitely. Now, talk about March Madness, because millions of people watch March Madness. It's almost it's almost Super Bowl-ish when you talk about, people anticipating. It's almost like a holiday. Millions of people watch, but few think about the actual committee behind it. Walk us through what goes into the selection committee for March Madness, and how does this all come about?
Yeah, it's what many refer to as the greatest 3 weeks in sport when you think about the NCAA tournament. And so to be a part of it as a committee member is really special. And to be on the Division I Men's Basketball Committee, the selection, bracketing, seeding process is just one aspect of it. And that's something that most people don't know. They think that that's the total sum part of what the responsibilities entail, but that's just a part of it. We help select the officials that work the 3 weeks, that tournament. And just like teams advance, so do officials advance. And so we're part of the evaluation process of officials after the first and second round to see if they advance to the regional and then advance to the Final Four. And but there's a lot of other responsibilities, such as we set prices for tickets. We are part of the process that selects what cities get to host the Final Four. We talk about and determine all the festivities and things that happen leading up to the Final Four in that particular host city. And so it's just not the games that take place, but there are so many fan-friendly events that go on leading up to those games, and then on the day in between the games. And so we help select and evaluate what we want to see in that city during that particular time. And so there's just, I could go on and on about the other types of responsibilities. And as a committee member, we're assigned to a site, whether it be a first, second round site, a regional site, and we're responsible for that site. So we spend a lot of time with the executives at CBS, Turner Sports, and we talk through issues dealing with media and the broadcast of the game. And so there's just a myriad of topics and subjects and things that go on and things that we're involved with as committee members. And to be a part of the comprehensive process has really been fascinating, DeMarcus, and it's just been an honor and a privilege to be able to serve.
That's a lot. That's awesome. One thing that kind of caught my attention, and maybe others as well too. You said referees move on as well. So, and it's one of those things where we're watching the game, we turn on this TV, or if we're lucky enough, we get tickets, we go to the game, but we don't really think about the process and these other folks moving on. What does it look like? What's the process for referees to move on? Is that a whether or not you did a bad call, or is that a tenure situation? How do referees move on? Because oftentimes those are the people that are credited with helping win or lose a game.
Well, there's a gentleman named J.D. Collins on the men's basketball side for Division I, who's a coordinator of officials, and he is integrally a part of the process of helping us and working with us as committee members in terms of selecting the officials for the NCAA men's basketball tournament, and then also for the process that's involved with officials and whether or not they advance. And so we work with him, and there's also other officials that are coordinator officials that work various regions of the country. And so we work in tandem with them to determine who advances and who doesn't. And it really comes down to call accuracy and a number of other factors that help determine whether or not an official advances. So these officials, just like a team may dream of playing in the Final Four, for officials, it's their dream to be able to officiate a Final Four. And it's interesting when you talk with them, it's something that they aspire to. And so getting the calls accurate and preparing for these moments is something that they really put a lot of hard work and effort into.
As somebody that played in the Final Four back in the 90s and now being on the selection committee, is there anything that comes to mind as far as obviously it's a new perspective, but is there anything that you feel like is better than it used to be when you were playing, or is there any contrast that you can see from playing in Indiana and now actually selecting teams that get to play in this tournament that you were fortunate enough to be able to play in?
That's a phenomenal question. I've never been asked that question, and it's something I really haven't given any thought to. I would just say that the game's evolved, and so back 30 years ago, which it's hard to even fathom 30 years ago, but 30 years ago when I was a student athlete, the game was just a little different in that there was a lot of holding and grabbing and, bumping. The Big Ten Conference was known for just being a really physical conference. But over time, the game has evolved, not just on the collegiate level, but also in high school and on the NBA level, where freedom of movement is something that's really encouraged. And so you don't see a lot of the hand checking and things of that nature in the physical aspect of basketball. And so that really leads to an exciting game where you see a lot of points being scored and the spacing of the court. You can see that where guys have more of a freedom of movement to be able to drive to the basket and score. And so the 3-point line is something that has really been emphasized over the last 10 years or so. Back 30 years ago, you didn't see a whole lot of threes being shot. And so the game has really evolved in so many different ways. And so it's just really fun to be able to watch young people play today and see the talent that's on display around the country.
You brought up a good point, and that's one of the things that people talk about often, mostly with the NBA, a little bit with college. But you mentioned that the game has changed, and you don't have the hand checking like you used to. You don't have that physicality like you used to. And many would say that the game has changed for the worse because of the lack of ability to be a little bit more physical like you remember when you were playing and coming up. Do you think the game has changed for the better or for the worse when you talk about ticky-tack calls and not being able to breathe on a point guard or people like that?
I would just say, I think with most things, it's just different, right? It's changed. And just like in society with a number of things evolve over time. And so it'd be difficult for me to really candidly say if things are better or worse in terms of how the game is officiated and the rules, more importantly, that are in place now versus what was in place 30 years ago. It's just different, right? And so I've just learned to be somebody that enjoys watching young people display their talent. On the collegiate level, what I'm probably more passionate about is to see how basketball or any other sport, golf, tennis, baseball, doesn't matter the sport, how sport can be used as a tool or an instrument to teach life lessons. And so through sport, we learn hard work, we learn teamwork, we learn time management, we learn discipline, right? We learn how to fall down and get back up. How do you react from a loss? How do you react from not playing? You know, the coach may bench you. You know, how do you bounce back from that in terms of effort and attitude? And so right now, I'm just more focused on how do we help develop our young people? You know, we have a saying here in Bradley Athletics that our number one responsibility and goal is to help develop the leaders of tomorrow. And so sport is just a tool that allows us to be able to do that. And then what I haven't talked about, which is the reason why they're here, is to get an education, right? And so that aspect is so central because at the end of the day, we want our student athletes to compete at a high level competitively, but we also want them to compete in the classroom as well.
And when you speak about student athletes, obviously not everybody that plays, even in the D1 championship game or Final Four, not everybody's going to the NBA, unfortunately. Not everybody's going to be able to have the benefit like Marcellus did to be able to go overseas and continue the career. And because of that, many athletes have trouble when it comes to the end of the road in their athletic career. How did you find a way, and how did you find your way to navigate your path once you put the basketball down?
I had a lot of help, DeMarcus, a lot of people, conversations, encouragement, support, people that helped me think about all that I was capable of as a young man, and just really grateful for the people that were in my life, and a lot of those people are still in my life, that saw potential in me, not just as a basketball player, but as a student and as a future professional and executive. And so it's about people at the end of the day. And I tell my children all the time, birds of a feather flock together, right? And that you can't fly with the eagles if you're running with the turkeys. And so it's important that whether you're a young person or a person that's out of school and in their career, that we get to the place where we surround ourselves with quality people that can help give us guidance, give us sound wisdom and advice concerning a myriad topics, both personally and professionally.
You've worked at Northwestern, Indiana, Notre Dame, Michigan State, all the big names. Why Bradley? What made you come back to Peoria?
It's home, for one. And so there's no place like home. This place can't be duplicated anywhere, right? There's only one home. And this is the place where I was born and raised as a young man. Secondly, it's a quality institution. And so for me, education is really important. And Bradley offers a quality education for young people. And so it's something that I get really excited about, because when young people, when they look at Bradley, they think about academics. And that's really important to me. And then lastly, you know, I find it really important that I'm involved in helping to make a difference. And so when I look at opportunities, as I did when I was at Northwestern, I looked at a place where can I go there and really make an impact, make a difference, be relevant, play a significant role in the lives of student athletes. And so that was a criteria I looked at as well. And so it just checked all those boxes. But I would say more so the opportunity to make an impact and difference. And I'm able to do that here at Bradley.
I want to backpedal just a little bit, because you had Bob Knight, one of the most known, slight controversial, some people might have been scared of him, some people might have liked him. How did that experience with him at the helm of your team impact you in your life, even as you work at Bradley right now?
It was a life-changing experience, because he was one of the first human beings to put a book in my hand, and that was significant. And certainly growing up here at Peoria High, I had phenomenal teachers and instructors. Dick Green was a principal; he was outstanding, and they played a critical role in my development as a young person. But just in terms of reading outside of school, it was Bob Knight who was the first to put a book in my hand and really encouraged me to read outside of my classes. And he read all the time. And that, DeMarcus, was transformative, just in terms of how I perceived a lot of things, and the ability to be around people who didn't see you just as a basketball player. That was very significant for me at that time. But to have a person who people respected from a coaching perspective spend a lot of time talking with me about the importance of an education, and really opened my eyes to how far education can take a person. We had conversations around that, and it made a big difference. Like I said, I had tremendous teachers here, Peoria High. Coach Bisher is one of the best that have ever done it, and certainly love and respect that guy. But when you go off to college, you start to figure out and start to think through, okay, what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, right? You don't necessarily have those questions or those conversations with yourself when you're in high school, but you do in college, because you start to see the end of the road. And so it was just the right time, right place, right circumstance. And I was open to hearing and listening. And so it was just a terrific time of self-exploration for me, in a time where I really grew and developed as a young man.
I get all that from, Bob Knight and the experience and things like that, all positive. But the average person that was watching TV and college basketball back then would want to know, was it scary? Like we saw the chair situation, we saw the yellow on the sideline. Was it scary, Bob Knight?
No, it really wasn't, to be candid. It was similar to, I love my parents. My mom was a yeller, right? And so Coach Knight, he would raise his voice, but just like with your mom, after a while, okay, the first couple of times it might have got your attention, but after the fourth or fifth or sixth time, it's like, oh, that's just mom, right? And so it was like that with Coach. Oh, that's just Coach. And but what people don't know are the conversations, as I mentioned, off the court. I remember we were in the middle of a Final Four run, and we were at practice, and in the middle of practice, Coach and I were standing at half court, talking about the prospect of me going to law school. And that just didn't happen. And back in that time, particularly when you're getting ready to hopefully try to win a championship, I mean, we were talking about law school in the middle of practice, preparing for a Final Four. And that's the kind of relationship that we had. And so that's why education is so near and dear to my heart, because I was a student athlete, and with student being the emphasis there. And so it's what I try to pass on to the student athletes I interact with here at Bradley. To be really candid, Marcus, they don't really know that I played basketball at Indiana. They don't even care. I don't bring it up. We don't ever talk about it. They just know me as the vice president for intercollegiate athletics here at Bradley. And so that is what I am to them. And that's what I keep the focus on. I keep the focus on how I can help support them and make it all about them and their development as young people. I'm really big into this, DeMarcus. Anybody that knows me, I have this phrase that I use with others and myself, and that is, yesterday ended last night. And so I'm not one to talk about anything that I've done, experienced, accomplished, because it's over, right? And it's all about the next play. It's all about the next day. It's all about the moment you're in right now. And so anything good, bad, or indifferent that happened yesterday, it's over, and it's time to move on. And so that philosophy, DeMarcus, has really helped keep me grounded, helped keep me focused, because you're only as good as your last day. And so I just try really hard to focus on the moment. I try really hard to just focus on doing the right things and being supportive and being an asset and a person of value, and who values the opportunity they have in front of them.
We're going to get to the lightning round in a second, but I want to ask you before we head into there, before we wrap up, Peoria and basketball synonymous. They go together. Well, they've always used to go together. Now it's kind of weird, and we don't have the Gus Becker here anymore. We don't have the March Madness here anymore that got moved to Champaign, and it seems like Peoria isn't the basketball city to the degree that it once was. What would you like to see, or how do you surmise we can get back to basketball prominence here in Peoria?
Well, that's a really good question. I think it just why it was back then. It was a different time. Just some slight observations. I remember growing up and playing basketball down at Carver Center outside on the courts. I grew up playing basketball in the Harrison Homes and Proctor Center. And every weekend, I remember just seeing people outside playing. And you don't see that anymore. And that's one thing I miss driving throughout the streets of Peoria, not seeing kids outside playing. And so everything is so structured and so organized and for good reason, and I understand it, but it's just different. And so I really can't put my finger on it, why it's different. But certainly we got some good high school basketball here in this community. We have some very talented players and young people and some good coaches. And so hopefully it'll come back, right? And so sometimes things come and go from time to time. Sometimes we know the reason, sometimes we don't. But I certainly believe in the people that we have here in this community. And I certainly want to try to be an asset and of help in any way I can.
Most definitely. Okay, we're going to head to the lightning round. And so this is rapid fire questions, either or, it's either or just the first answer that comes to your mind. All right.
All right.
All right. We're going to put you at a minute. Let's see if we can knock it out in a minute. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Boom. Apple or Android?
Apple or Android? Well, I have an Apple, so I'll say Apple.
It's going to be Apple. BMW or Mercedes?
I'm not a big luxury car guy, so I'm just trying to get from point A to point B tomorrow.
You want to know. What app do you use on your phone the most?
I need to get better on technology. I just use my phone to call people, text people. That's about it.
We're going to say email. Jordan or LeBron?
Ooh, Jordan.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
I could either one. I wasn't into either one of them. So
New York or LA?
Same deal.
Oh, Chris. Favorite book?
Chicago, right? Up from Illinois.
Favorite book.
Favorite book, The Slight Edge. I really enjoy that book by Jeff Olson.
Okay, I got to get these last two. You ran out of time. You answered one question and ran out of time. How you answer one question and ran out of time?
Well, you threw me off on the LA, New York thing when I'm in Illinois. It's got to be Chicago, right?
We got to talk about the coast. So look, I got to get these two out you. Do grits take sugar or salt?
What'd you say?
Do grits take sugar or salt?
Sugar.
Correct. And does Aaron Rodgers stay with the Packers or no?
Well, I don't know on that one. I really don't know.
Okay. And any last advice for student athletes currently? It's a big thing nowadays. A lot of people going overseas, going to NBA and things like that. But then, the people that get stuck in between, we talked about that a minute ago. Any words of advice for students that may be at the end of the road collegiately?
Man, just master the moment. That's it. Can I recite a poem somebody told me a long time ago? It's called Life is Just a Minute. It said, life is just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You will suffer if you lose it, give an account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. And so for me, it's just mastering the moment and giving life 1,000%, going as hard as you can, surround yourself with the right people, and just doing the best you can possibly do.
That's what it is. I appreciate you coming on, Chris. Doing an amazing job. Keep up the good work. And of course, for all the people out there, we are brought to you by Sherman's, where they carry the best in furniture, mattresses, and appliances. And they're also hiring. They just want people. They promote people that work hard, have a good attitude, and follow their core values. One of the few places that hard work gets recognized and gets you ahead. You can log on to shermanscareers.com to check out the openings and apply online. And also brought to you by Terry Shepard, a real estate consultant whose values are rooted in customer care and service. She can help you negotiate your deal and get you into a home that fits. She's with Remax Traders Unlimited, and she can be reached at 309-361-4592. Chris Reynolds, we appreciate your time.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Take care now.
Yes,
Go Braves.
Go Braves. Yes, sir. Thank you.